The Little Match Girl. Chapter 1. The Match Girl's Dream. In a small corner of the bustling city, where the cobblestone streets echoed with the hurried footsteps of passers-by, there sat a young girl with a bundle of matches clutched tightly to her chest. Her name was Gretchen, though most knew her simply as the Match Girl. Gretchen was no stranger to hardship. Orphaned at a tender age, she had learned to fend for herself in a world that showed little mercy to those without means. Each day, she would wander the streets, her threadbare shawl wrapped tightly around her slender frame, her eyes reflecting the weariness of one far beyond her years. But amidst the harsh realities of her existence, Gretchen clung to one thing with unwavering determination: her dreams. As she sat huddled against the biting cold, her thoughts soared beyond the confines of her bleak surroundings, carrying her to distant lands, where the sun danced upon fields of gold and laughter echoed through the air like music. With each passing moment, Gretchen's imagination ignited, fueling her resolve to persevere in the face of adversity. And though her fingers were numb with cold and her stomach empty with hunger, she found solace in the flickering flames of the matches she held in her trembling hands. Tonight, as the city lay cloaked in a blanket of snow, Gretchen dared to dream once more. Closing her eyes, she struck a match against the rough surface of the cobblestone, its tiny flame casting a warm glow upon her delicate features. And in that fleeting moment, as the world around her faded into darkness, Gretchen found herself transported to a realm where dreams were born and anything was possible. Chapter 2. A Frozen Night in the City. The city was shrouded in an icy silence, broken only by the distant howl of the wind as it whipped through the narrow alleyways. Gretchen shivered as she huddled closer to the cold stone wall, her breath forming misty clouds in the frigid air. Despite the biting cold, she dared not light another match, for fear of exhausting her meager supply. As she sat there, her thoughts drifted to warmer days, when the sun kissed her cheeks and laughter filled the air. But those memories felt like distant echoes in the vast expanse of loneliness that surrounded her now. With each passing moment, the cold seemed to seep deeper into her bones, numbing her senses and sapping what little strength remained. But just as despair threatened to consume her, a soft voice broke through the silence, like a beacon of warmth cutting through the darkness. Startled, Gretchen lifted her gaze to see a figure approaching through the swirling snowflakes. It was an old woman, her face weathered by time, but her eyes kind and gentle. "Child, what are you doing out here all alone on such a cold night?" the old woman asked, her voice tinged with concern. Gretchen hesitated, unused to such kindness from strangers. But something in the woman's eyes touched her heart, stirring feelings long buried beneath layers of hardship and pain. "I am selling matches," Gretchen replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "But no one wants to buy them." The old woman's expression softened, and without hesitation, she reached into the folds of her cloak and withdrew a small pouch. Opening it, she revealed a handful of coins, their glimmering surface catching the faint light of the moon. "Here, child," the old woman said, pressing the coins into Gretchen's trembling hands. "Take these and find yourself a warm meal and a place to rest. No one should have to spend the night alone in the cold." Tears welled in Gretchen's eyes as she gazed at the coins, feeling a warmth spread through her chest that had nothing to do with the flickering flames of her matches. In that moment, she realized that kindness could be found in even the darkest of places, if only one had the courage to seek it out. With a grateful smile, Gretchen thanked the old woman and watched as she disappeared into the swirling snow. And as she counted the coins in her palm, Gretchen felt a flicker of hope ignite within her once more, banishing the shadows that had threatened to consume her. For in the heart of the coldest night, she had found a glimmer of warmth to light her way. Chapter 3. The Match Girl's Struggle. Despite the brief respite offered by the old woman's kindness, Gretchen's reality remained unchanged. With each passing day, the harshness of her existence seemed to weigh heavier upon her slender shoulders. The streets of the city became her home, the cold her constant companion. As winter tightened its grip, the demand for Gretchen's meager wares dwindled, leaving her with little more than the scraps of her own resilience to cling to. Hunger gnawed at her stomach, relentless in its pursuit, while the bitter cold seeped into her bones, draining her of what little warmth remained. But amidst the despair, Gretchen refused to surrender to the darkness that threatened to engulf her. With each step she took, she clung to the flickering flame of hope that burned within her heart, a beacon of light guiding her through the endless night. And though her body grew weak and her spirit weary, Gretchen pressed on, driven by a determination born of sheer necessity. For she knew that to falter now would mean surrendering to a fate she could not bear to face. But just when it seemed that all hope was lost, a glimmer of light appeared on the horizon, like the first rays of dawn breaking through the darkness. It came in the form of a humble innkeeper, whose heart overflowed with compassion for those in need. Upon learning of Gretchen's plight, the innkeeper offered her a warm meal and a place by the fire, free from the biting cold that had tormented her for so long. And though Gretchen was hesitant to accept such generosity, she found herself unable to refuse the kindness that was offered so freely. As she sat by the crackling fire, her fingers wrapped around a steaming bowl of soup, Gretchen felt a sense of warmth wash over her, unlike anything she had ever known. And in that moment, she realized that even in the darkest of times, there existed moments of light and love, waiting to be discovered by those with the courage to seek them out. With renewed strength and determination, Gretchen vowed to never again allow herself to be consumed by the shadows that had threatened to extinguish her spirit. For she knew that as long as there was even the faintest glimmer of hope, there existed the possibility of a brighter tomorrow. Chapter 4. Kindness in Unexpected Places. As Gretchen's journey continued, she encountered kindness in the most unexpected of places. One chilly evening, as she wandered through the winding streets in search of shelter, she stumbled upon a small bakery nestled between two towering buildings. Drawn by the inviting aroma of freshly baked bread, Gretchen peered through the frost-covered window, her stomach rumbling at the sight of golden loaves piled high on wooden shelves. Though she knew she had no coins to spare, the warmth emanating from within tempted her to step inside and seek refuge from the biting cold. To her surprise, the baker greeted her with a warm smile and a steaming cup of tea, his eyes filled with empathy as he listened to her tale of hardship. Without hesitation, he offered Gretchen a loaf of bread and a handful of pastries, insisting that she take them with her as she continued on her journey. Grateful tears welled in Gretchen's eyes as she accepted the baker's generous offer, overwhelmed by the unexpected kindness of a stranger. For in that moment, she realized that even in a world plagued by darkness, there existed pockets of light waiting to illuminate the path of those in need. With a heart full of gratitude, Gretchen bid the baker farewell and ventured back out into the cold night, her spirits lifted by the warmth of his generosity. And though her journey was far from over, she knew that with each act of kindness she encountered along the way, the flame of hope within her burned ever brighter, lighting the way to a future filled with promise. Chapter 5. A glimpse of warmth. As winter tightened its grip on the city, Gretchen found herself wandering aimlessly through the snow-covered streets, her spirits weighed down by the relentless cold. But just when it seemed that all hope was lost, a faint glimmer of warmth beckoned to her from the darkness. Following the soft glow, Gretchen stumbled upon a makeshift shelter nestled beneath the arches of an old stone bridge. Inside, a group of weary travelers huddled around a crackling fire, their faces illuminated by its dancing flames. Though hesitant at first, Gretchen approached the strangers, drawn to the warmth of the fire like a moth to a flame. To her surprise, the travelers welcomed her with open arms, sharing their meager provisions and tales of their own journeys through the frozen landscape. As she listened to their stories, Gretchen felt a sense of kinship with these kindred spirits, bound together by a shared struggle against the biting cold and the harsh realities of life on the streets. And though their time together was fleeting, the connection they forged in that moment would remain etched in Gretchen's heart forever. For in the midst of the coldest of nights, surrounded by strangers who had become her friends, Gretchen glimpsed a warmth that transcended the flickering flames of the fire. It was a warmth born not of hearth and home, but of compassion and camaraderie, lighting the way through the darkest of times. And as she bid farewell to her newfound companions and ventured back out into the icy embrace of the night, Gretchen carried with her a renewed sense of hope, knowing that no matter how cold the world may seem, there would always be moments of warmth waiting to be discovered by those with the courage to seek them out. Chapter 6. Memories by the Fire. As Gretchen continued her journey through the frozen city, she found herself drawn back to the warmth of the fire beneath the old stone bridge. Each night, she would seek refuge among the travelers, finding solace in their company and the crackling flames that danced before her. Together, they shared stories of their pasts, their dreams for the future, and the struggles that had brought them to this humble shelter. And as the nights grew longer and the cold more relentless, Gretchen found comfort in the familiar cadence of their voices and the shared warmth of their companionship. But amidst the laughter and camaraderie, there lingered a bittersweet undercurrent of sorrow, a reminder of the hardships that bound them together. For each traveler bore the scars of their own battles, their faces etched with the lines of a life lived on the edge of survival. Yet, in spite of their hardships, they remained resilient, their spirits unbroken by the trials they faced. And as Gretchen listened to their tales of triumph and tragedy, she found strength in their resilience, drawing courage from their unwavering determination to persevere in the face of adversity. For in the flickering light of the fire, surrounded by those who had become her family, Gretchen discovered that true warmth could be found not in the flames themselves, but in the bonds forged between kindred souls. And though their time together was fleeting, the memories they shared would remain etched in her heart forever, a testament to the enduring power of hope in even the darkest of times. Chapter 7. The Joy of Sharing. As winter tightened its grip on the city, Gretchen found herself surrounded by a community of kindred spirits, each one bound together by a shared sense of camaraderie and compassion. Together, they faced the bitter cold with courage and resilience, finding strength in the bonds they had forged amidst the darkness. But amidst the struggles of their daily existence, there existed moments of joy and laughter that served as beacons of light in the gloom. Each night, as they gathered around the fire beneath the old stone bridge, they would share stories and songs, their voices rising in harmony against the backdrop of the night. In those precious moments, the weight of their burdens would lift, if only for a fleeting instant, replaced by a sense of belonging and camaraderie that transcended the hardships of their daily lives. And as they laughed and sang together, Gretchen felt a warmth spread through her chest unlike anything she had ever known. For in the company of her newfound friends, she discovered the true meaning of community, a bond forged not by blood or circumstance, but by the simple act of sharing in each other's joys and sorrows. And though their lives were far from easy, they faced the challenges that lay ahead with a sense of unity and purpose that filled Gretchen's heart with hope for the future. As the fire crackled and popped, casting dancing shadows across their faces, Gretchen knew that no matter what trials lay ahead, she would face them with courage and determination, secure in the knowledge that she was not alone. For in the embrace of her makeshift family, she had found a strength she never knew she possessed, a strength born of love, resilience, and the unbreakable bonds of friendship. Chapter 8. The Match Girl's Vision. Amidst the darkness of the wintry night, Gretchen found herself consumed by a vision, a glimpse of a future bathed in light and warmth, where the struggles of the past faded into distant memory. It was a vision born of hope, fueled by the flickering flame of her indomitable spirit. In this vision, Gretchen saw herself no longer as the match girl, but as a beacon of hope and inspiration to those around her. She imagined a world where kindness prevailed over cruelty, where compassion triumphed over indifference, and where the light of love shone brightly in even the darkest of places. With each strike of a match, she saw herself illuminating the lives of others, casting aside the shadows of despair and lighting the way to a future filled with promise and possibility. And though the path ahead was fraught with uncertainty, Gretchen knew that, as long as she held fast to her dreams, nothing could extinguish the flame of hope burning within her heart. As she shared her vision with her newfound friends beneath the old stone bridge, their faces lit up with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. Together, they pledged to stand united against the darkness, to spread love and kindness wherever they went, and to never lose sight of the light that guided them through the coldest of nights. And as they raised their voices in a chorus of hope and solidarity, Gretchen felt a sense of peace wash over her, and knowing that no matter what challenges lay ahead, she would face them with courage and conviction, secure in the knowledge that she was not alone. For in the depths of her soul, she carried the light of 1,000 matches aflame that could never be extinguished, no matter how fierce the winds of adversity may blow. And with that light as her guide, Gretchen embarked on the next chapter of her journey, ready to embrace whatever the future may hold with an unwavering spirit and an open heart. Chapter 9. A Helping Hand. As Gretchen ventured forth into the wintry night, her heart filled with the warmth of her vision and the companionship of her makeshift family, she encountered others in need along the way. With each passing day, she found herself reaching out a helping hand to those less fortunate than herself, offering food, shelter, and solace to those who had lost their way in the cold. Among them was a young boy named Thomas, whose weary eyes bore the weight of a burden far too heavy for his tender years. Abandoned by his family and left to fend for himself on the unforgiving streets, Thomas had lost all hope of ever finding a place to call home. But Gretchen saw something in Thomas, a spark of resilience that refused to be extinguished, no matter how dire his circumstances may have seemed. With gentle words and a kind smile, she offered him a place among her newfound family, welcoming him into their fold with open arms. Together, they faced the challenges of the streets with courage and determination, supporting one another through the darkest of times and celebrating each small victory along the way. And as Thomas found his footing amidst the chaos of their daily existence, Gretchen witnessed a transformation take place within him, a blossoming of hope and possibility that had long lay dormant beneath the weight of despair. With each passing day, Thomas grew stronger and more confident, his laughter ringing out like a bell in the stillness of the night. And though the road ahead was fraught with uncertainty, he walked it with a newfound sense of purpose and determination, secure in the knowledge that he was no longer alone. For in Gretchen and her makeshift family, Thomas had found more than just shelter from the cold. He had found a place to belong, a family to call his own, and a future filled with promise and possibility. And as they journeyed forth together, hand in hand, Gretchen knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them as one, a testament to the power of compassion, resilience, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Chapter 10. The Little Match Girl's Christmas. As Christmas approached, the city seemed to come alive with a festive energy, the streets adorned with twinkling lights and the sound of carollers filling the air. But amidst the hustle and bustle of the holiday season, Gretchen couldn't shake the feeling of sadness that lingered in her heart. For though she longed to join in the merriment and cheer, she knew that for many, Christmas was not a time of joy and celebration, but a stark reminder of the hardships they faced each day. And as she wandered through the snow-covered streets, her thoughts turned to those less fortunate than herself, wondering how she could bring a glimmer of hope to their lives in the midst of the holiday season. Determined to make a difference, Gretchen gathered her makeshift family beneath the old stone bridge and set to work crafting decorations from scraps of cloth and bits of twine. Together, they transformed their humble shelter into a cozy haven filled with warmth and cheer, a sanctuary from the cold where all were welcome. As Christmas Eve drew near, Gretchen and her friends ventured out into the city, spreading kindness and goodwill wherever they went. They delivered food and blankets to those in need, sang carols to lift the spirits of the weary, and offered words of comfort to those who felt lost and alone. And as they made their way through the snow-covered streets, their hearts brimming with the spirit of Christmas, Gretchen felt a sense of joy unlike anything she had ever known. For in giving of themselves to others, they had discovered the true meaning of the holiday season, a time of love, compassion, and the joy of sharing with those in need. As the clock struck midnight and Christmas Day dawned, Gretchen and her makeshift family gathered together beneath the old stone bridge, their hearts full of gratitude for the blessings they had received and the friendships they had forged along the way. And as they exchanged gifts, handmade with love, and shared stories of Christmases past, Gretchen knew that she had found her true family, the family of her heart, bound together by the bonds of love and the spirit of Christmas. Chapter 11. Echoes of the Past. As the snow continued to fall gently upon the city, Gretchen found herself lost in memories of Christmases long gone. She remembered the warmth of her parents' embrace, the laughter of childhood games, and the joy of unwrapping presents by the glow of the fire. But amidst the nostalgia, there lingered a bittersweet undercurrent of sorrow, a reminder of the loved ones she had lost and the hardships she had endured since those simpler days. And though she longed to recapture the magic of her youth, Gretchen knew that the past could never be reclaimed, only cherished in the memories she held dear. With a heavy heart, she turned her thoughts to the present, grateful for the companionship of her makeshift family and the sense of purpose they had brought to her life. For in their laughter and camaraderie, Gretchen found solace from the pain of the past and the uncertainty of the future, embracing each moment as a gift to be cherished and savoured. And as she looked around at the faces of her friends gathered beneath the old stone bridge, their eyes bright with anticipation for the festivities to come, Gretchen felt a sense of peace wash over her, and knowing that no matter what trials lay ahead, they would face them together, united in love and friendship. For in the echoes of the past and the promise of the future, Gretchen found the strength to embrace the present with an open heart, ready to write a new chapter in the story of her life, a chapter filled with hope, resilience, and the enduring power of love. Chapter 12. A New Day Dawns. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, casting a golden glow upon the snow-covered city, Gretchen felt a sense of renewal wash over her. It was as if the world itself had been reborn, bathed in the promise of a new day filled with endless possibilities. With a newfound sense of purpose, Gretchen and her makeshift family set out into the city, eager to spread kindness and joy wherever they went. They delivered food and warm clothing to those in need, offered words of encouragement to the downtrodden, and shared laughter and camaraderie with all they encountered. And as they moved through the streets, their actions inspired others to join in their cause, creating a ripple effect of kindness and compassion that spread throughout the city like wildfire. Before long, strangers became friends, neighbors became allies, and the bonds of community grew stronger with each passing moment. Together, they transformed the city into a place of warmth and welcome, where all were valued and respected, regardless of their station in life. And as they worked tirelessly to create a better world for themselves and future generations, Gretchen knew that they were writing a new chapter in the story of their lives, one filled with hope, resilience, and the unbreakable bonds of love. For in the light of a new day, anything was possible, and Gretchen and her makeshift family were determined to seize the moment and make a difference in the world around them. And as they looked to the future with hearts full of hope and determination, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united in purpose and bound by the ties of friendship that had brought them together in the first place. Chapter 13. The Light in Darkness. As the days grew shorter and the nights colder, Gretchen and her makeshift family continued their mission to spread kindness and compassion throughout the city. But as winter tightened its grip, they found themselves facing new challenges and obstacles along the way. With each passing day, the demand for their help grew greater, as more and more people found themselves struggling to survive in the harsh winter conditions. But despite the overwhelming odds, Gretchen and her friends refused to be deterred, pressing on with unwavering determination and resolve. And though the darkness threatened to consume them at times, they clung to the flickering flame of hope burning within their hearts, drawing strength from the knowledge that even in the coldest of nights, there existed moments of light and warmth waiting to be discovered by those with the courage to seek them out. Together, they ventured into the darkest corners of the city, offering aid and assistance to those in need, their actions a beacon of light in a world shrouded in darkness. And as they worked tirelessly to make a difference in the lives of others, they found their own spirits uplifted and their hearts filled with a sense of purpose and fulfillment unlike anything they had ever known. For in the midst of the cold and the chaos, Gretchen and her makeshift family had discovered the true power of love and compassion, the power to illuminate even the darkest of nights and to bring hope to those who had lost their way. And as they stood together beneath the starlit sky, their hands joined in solidarity, Gretchen knew that no matter what trials lay ahead, they would face them with courage and determination, secure in the knowledge that as long as they had each other, they would never be alone. Chapter 14. Rekindling Hope. Despite the bitter cold and the challenges they faced, Gretchen and her makeshift family refused to lose sight of their mission. With each passing day, they continued to spread kindness and compassion throughout the city, their actions serving as a beacon of hope for those in need. But as winter wore on, the weight of their efforts began to take its toll, and Gretchen found herself struggling to maintain her resolve in the face of adversity. Doubt crept into her mind, whispering words of uncertainty and fear, threatening to extinguish the flame of hope that burned within her heart. Yet, in the darkest of moments, Gretchen found solace in the unwavering support of her friends, whose presence served as a constant reminder of the strength that lay within her. Together, they lifted each other up, offering words of encouragement and support, and rekindling the flickering flame of hope that threatened to fade away. And as they worked tirelessly to make a difference in the lives of others, Gretchen felt a sense of purpose and fulfillment wash over her, banishing the shadows of doubt and despair that had plagued her mind. For in the act of giving of themselves to others, they had discovered the true meaning of hope, a light that could never be extinguished, no matter how fierce the winds of adversity may blow. With renewed determination, Gretchen and her friends continued their mission, spreading kindness and compassion wherever they went. And as they looked to the future with hearts full of hope and possibility, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, united in purpose and bound by the ties of friendship that had brought them together in the first place. Chapter 15. The Little Match Girl's Gift. As the winter months drew to a close and the promise of spring lingered on the horizon, Gretchen and her makeshift family found themselves reflecting on the journey they had undertaken together. It had been a journey fraught with hardship and challenges, but also one filled with moments of joy, laughter, and love. And as they gathered together beneath the old stone bridge one final time, their hearts heavy with the weight of all they had endured, Gretchen knew that their time together had come to an end. But instead of feeling sadness at the prospect of parting ways, she felt a sense of gratitude for the memories they had shared and the bonds they had formed along the way. With tears in her eyes and a smile on her face, Gretchen reached into the pocket of her threadbare coat and withdrew a handful of matches, the same matches that had sustained her through the darkest of nights, and lit the way to a future filled with hope. "These matches may be small," she began, her voice trembling with emotion, "but they hold within them the power to ignite the flames of hope and compassion in even the coldest of hearts. And though our journey together may be coming to an end, I know that the light we have kindled within each other will continue to burn brightly long after we have parted ways." With that, Gretchen handed out the matches to each member of her makeshift family, their eyes shining with gratitude and love. And as they struck the matches against the rough surface of the cobblestone, watching as their flames danced and flickered in the cool spring breeze, they knew that though they may be separated by distance and time, they would always be connected by the bonds of friendship and the memories they had shared. For in the end, it was not the hardships they had faced or the challenges they had overcome that defined their journey, but the love and compassion they had shown to one another along the way. And as they bid farewell to the old stone bridge and set out to face the future, they did so with hearts full of hope and gratitude, knowing that no matter where life may lead them, they would always carry with them the light of the little match girl's gift. Thanks for watching.